hang out with our kids. In fact, I lived with her parents for a while, and so we would hang out with our families or with our kids. But at some point after we moved up here, at some point we just realized that it'd be really nice to just, even if it was a little less frequent, but to just get together and spend an evening together with coffee or dinner. So this will be our, I don't know, second or third time to do it, maybe third. It's so nice to have this time. I remember when I was a kid and President Clinton was the president, relatives that would complain, and it seemed like their whole lives, kind of similarly probably to what people call Trump derangement syndrome, it seems like a lot of people just really hated Bill Clinton. And there was good reason to disagree with him politically and also personally. But that doesn't mean that we have to be complainers or critics of a human being. We can instead critique policy. We can have substantive thoughts about what's happening in our government, and we can share them intelligently and winsomely and persuasively. But it doesn't mean that we have to be, negative Nellies who are always griping about the person in office. I don't think we should be people who villainize and demonize. I'm reminded of the scriptures where when it says honor the emperor, I believe when Peter wrote that, they were under Nero. If I'm not mistaken, you can check me on that, but I believe that's right. And so we can be people who are under the authority of wicked men. Wicked men. I mean, think about Nero, fiddling while Rome burned and deliberately killing Christians. No president has ever been like that. So we can be under quite a wicked person and yet not make it a personal demonization of that human being. And instead we can show honor and pray for them genuinely from our hearts. And then we can offer our own service and even the service of intellectual sharpening that can happen through actually bringing our ideas to the table, not villainization and not just empty complaints, but actual policy efforts and intellectually engaging philosophical arguments that persuade, that show the reasonableness of our position. So these are my thoughts. And I think we can live that way whether we are under President Trump or President Biden or what I perceive would probably very quickly become President Harris. But even still, we can be content people who joyfully live as God-following individuals, no matter who the president is. And so my prognostication is that Trump will win by a healthy margin. But if he doesn't, that's no skin off my nose. I will be surprised, but I was gut punch surprised in 2016, and I've been surprised in years past. So, whoever the president is, as Christians, we can pray for them, we can serve and offer our own personal service to our community, and we can serve the people around us by bringing our best ideas to the table and participating in the wonder of American electoral politics through our thoughtful engagement. So those are my thoughts about election 2020. One thing Doug and I have been noticing lately is the way that life has gotten so busy. Like just last night, he said, I think this is what people were talking about when they said, like, you don't even know what busyness is, back when we had littler kids. And so I'm just gonna give a quick update on some things that have been happening. Our oldest son has basically 2 months left until he's gonna ship out for boot camp. It's happening fast. In that amount of time, we have a 12-year-old trip scheduled with our 12-year-old down to the coast. We have a family vacation. We wanted to take a final family vacation together. So we have that. We've never taken our kids down to the Gulf Coast of Texas, and so we're gonna do that. We have obviously Thanksgiving and Christmas. We have a couple of birthdays. My oldest son is working nonstop. He's finishing up his schoolwork. He's got various things he's completing, and but then just today, his car broke down. And so 2.5 months out from boot camp, he's having to scramble and try to find a replacement for his car. Meanwhile, the 16-year-old, his car just it was in the shop for more than 3 weeks. He had various problems with his new car that he just bought, or new to him. We're doing speech and debate this year, so we've got various, tournaments and things that are on the calendar, and it's just a lot. In the midst of all of that, we've got things we're kind of dreaming and thinking about, plan-wise, and just ideas that we have, Doug and I. And then each of my older kids, I would say from our 12-year-old on up, so our 12-year-old son, 14-year-old daughter, 16-year-old son, and then our 18-year-old, they each have plans and dreams and things that they're thinking about. And even our 10-year-old is thinking about buying a piglet. And there's just so many things going on all the time. And it's a very interesting, wild situation that is way more busy than my life was just a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, let's say. So life gets really busy, and there's no slowing down. There's nothing that's gonna change that. So I'm having to adapt to it, and that's something that's also interesting, is that it's a form of life that is not controllable, and therefore it forces you to adapt to it rather than the other way around. I think a lot of life I've been able to kind of shape our family commitments and life to be more precisely in line with what I would have them be, and that's no longer fully the case. They have job commitments, and they have like my 12-year-old has animal commitments, and it's just a different form of life than what it's ever been. So that's where life is.